Relax, one Marine laughed, stepping closer. You're not in Ranger School anymore. Another blocked the exit, smirking. You always talk big. Combat expert, right? She raised a hand slightly, not threatening, not dramatic. Remember, she said calmly. I'm a Ranger combat expert. They laughed louder. Then she moved. The room went quiet in less than 5 seconds. The training annex was hollow in the late afternoon light, sounds echoing off concrete walls and metal lockers. She was there simply to collect specialized equipment for an upcoming training cycle. Administrative business, nothing more. Dressed in plain workout gear with no unit identifiers or rank, she looked no different from any other service member running errands. 3 Marines lingered near the lockers, watching her with casual interest. That her? One asked, not bothering to lower his voice. Yeah, the Ranger transfer everyone's talking about. Thought Rangers were supposed to be bigger, the third said, sizing her up with obvious skepticism. Careless laughter echoed through the space. She noticed them immediately. Situational awareness was a habit burned into her muscle memory through years of deployment. She finished signing the equipment log and turned to leave, bags slung over her shoulder. One Marine stepped sideways, deliberately blocking the door. You leaving already? He asked, his tone carrying a sharp edge. She stopped 3 meters away, assessing the environment with automatic precision. Distance to walls, weight distribution, and exit routes. Yes, she replied evenly. Another Marine moved behind her, invading her tactical space. The third remained by the lockers, ready for backup. They weren't aggressive yet, just testing boundaries, believing that 3 against 1 numbers and intimidation would work. Relax, the first Marine said with a grin. We're just being friendly. Step aside, she said. It wasn't a request, it was a statement of required action. The Marine at the door leaned in. Thought Rangers were supposed to be scary, he mocked. All that reputation, special training, combat experts. I don't need to be scary, she said quietly. They interpreted her calm as weakness. The Marine at the door reached out to push her shoulder, to establish dominance. It was the mistake that ended everything. She moved before his fingers made contact. She stepped into his reach, closing the distance and pivoting her hips. His arm was suddenly locked at the elbow, his own momentum stolen. She redirected his entire mass into the metal lockers behind him. The sound was sharp, metal rattling violently as the breath was knocked from his lungs. 2 seconds elapsed. The second Marine lunged from behind. She dropped her center of gravity, letting his hands pass through empty space, and swept his lead leg. His own weight sent him flat to the floor, face first. She controlled his wrist to prevent a clean landing. He hit hard. 3 seconds total. The third Marine froze. Before his brain could process the hesitation, she closed the gap and gripped his wrist, applying pressure to specific nerve clusters. His body responded to the pain signals instantly, dropping him to one knee. No wild strikes, no wasted motion. In under 5 seconds, 1 Marine was pinned against the lockers, 1 was face down, and the third was on his knees. She released them immediately and stepped back 2 paces. I warned you, she said, her breathing barely elevated. I told you what I was. The laughter was gone. 1 Marine pushed himself up, clutching his ribs. What the hell was that? Close quarters neutralization, she answered simply. Standard Ranger combatives. What they teach instructors to use when rules of engagement prohibit lethal force but physical control is required. She checked her watch. Are we done here? No one moved to stop her. No one made a comment about her size. The noise had drawn attention. A senior NCO, a master sergeant with 20 years of service, entered the annex. He saw 3 shaken Marines and 1 woman standing calmly with her gear. What happened here? He demanded. The Marines hesitated, embarrassed. One finally muttered, We misunderstood the situation, Master Sergeant. The NCO turned to her. Ma'am, your account? She stated the facts without embellishment. I signed out equipment. They blocked the exit. I asked them to move. They didn't. 1 made physical contact. I responded with minimum necessary force to disengage. The NCO looked at the Marines, understanding dawning on him. You cornered a Ranger? He asked, his voice a mix of disbelief and disappointment. Master Sergeant, we didn't know. That's the point, the NCO cut him off. You assumed. You tested someone without understanding who you were testing. He turned back to her with professional courtesy. Your background, ma'am? Ranger Regiment, 75th. 8 years active duty. Combat instructor for close quarters battle, specialization in confined space neutralization. The NCO nodded. Figures. You don't test people you don't understand. He dismissed the Marines sharply, ordering them to his office the next morning. After they left, the NCO looked at her. You okay, ma'am? You could have filed a formal complaint. I didn't want to, she replied. Ending it was sufficient. Injuring them would have been excessive. Word traveled quickly through the unit. It wasn't told as a legend but as a lesson. 3 Marines tried to corner a ranger. It ended in 5 seconds. The story reminded everyone that assumptions based on appearance are dangerous. The next day, the atmosphere in the annex was different. Conversations softened when she walked by. It wasn't fear but respect earned through demonstrated competence. People made space without being asked. One of the Marines from the day before approached her during a break. Ma'am, he said, standing at a respectful distance. I owe you an apology. We thought you were bluffing. She met his eyes directly. That's a dangerous habit to have, assuming people are less capable than they claim. Eventually, you test someone who is exactly what they say. And then what happens? This, he admitted. I showed restraint, she added. Not everyone would. From that day forward, no one questioned her credentials or made jokes about her size. They understood what experience had taught them the hard way. Real professionals don't posture or brag. They simply finish what others start, then move on. She continued her work quietly, needing no rumors to sustain her. The room already remembered. Respect isn't claimed, it's learned.